Today's topic is going to be about how we took a print-on-demand store from Shopify and made $933,016 in 1 year. How we did it, what kind of products we used, what kind of traffic sources we used. So that is what our topic is going to be about today. So what is possible? Just to show you that, I'm not just talking out of things. Last year we had one store literally do $933,016.45 in sales. Now, it wasn't our biggest store, but this store was very unique, and that's why I wanted to point out this store and kind of talk about how we did it with this store, because it was not your bread and butter. It is not your normal stuff that is sold. Now, it's ShineOn stuff for sure, but it's not the normal stuff. So that's why I chose this store to talk about today, because I want to do something different. So how was it different? Well, all of the sales came from graphic products like our graphic dog tag, our graphic hearts, or buyer upload products, versions of those same things. So hearts. This store focused on graphic products, buyer upload products, so not your traditional message card. So I know that the message card gets most of our attention. It is the most popular product category that we offer. However, it is not necessarily the easiest to get into every single time, right? It just depends. You have to have the right angle, the right niche, the right message. There's a lot of components in there. And I'm not saying you don't at graphic either, but there's just not as many people trying to sell graphic or buyer upload products. That in mind, as you go and you're like, what product do I want to go into? What do I want to sell for wedding season? Maybe you have a really cool groomsman message and you want to do a set of groomsman dog tags, and you have that message put on there, right, for that groomsman. And if you do a custom version of it, you could. And you do it as a buyer upload, right? So there's a lot of opportunities out there. The other big difference between this store and the majority of stores out there is we used traffic that was not Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok. They get the most of the attention. So if you're looking for your bread and butter ShineOn store, this is the exact opposite of that. We look at our graphic products and we use traffic sources outside of the three big ones. And Facebook and Instagram, yes, they're separate entities, even though it's in the same ads manager, right? But Facebook and TikTok get the vast majority of time and energy in how you find the traffic, how you run the ads, how you do creatives for them, and all this. And this store did not do that. We like maybe 5% of our traffic was from TikTok, and we didn't do any Facebook or Instagram. This is examples of some of the products that we ran last year, okay? And I want you to notice something, not so much the design, because the design is your unique aspect. As you, as a professional business owner for your print-on-demand business, it's your job to come up with the ideas. If you're not a great graphic designer, like I am not a great graphic designer, I can put words on things, that's fine. But if I want to do graphic pieces, I will go and find someone on Fiverr or Upwork, relatively cheap, that does great quality work, and I will pair up with them. I'm going to show you these two products and then a couple other products as well. But I want to point out the difference between a graphic product that you have static, which is what these are, and your message card is obviously the real estate is much smaller. You can't put nearly as many words on a graphical product, but it still uses the same core emotional piece that all of our message cards pretty much use anyway. So the never forget that I love you thing, I dare you to go on Etsy, Amazon, or Facebook, and you go look through and you will see a plethora of products around daughter that start with never forget that I love you. So a research strategy tip, if you want to get into the graphic space, is pick your niche. Maybe you want to do wedding season. Maybe you want to do Father's Day that's coming up. Maybe you want to catch the tail end of graduation season. Go research those particular niches in the marketplaces, in the wild, as I say. So use Google, use the normal researching tactics, right? You use Google, you use Etsy, you use Amazon, you search Facebook, and you find what is being run. If you have the extra money, you could also use spy tools and things like that to get inspiration from. I am a big, for those of you who follow me and learn from me, you know I am a huge proponent of do not steal people's stuff. It is the quickest way to saturate a market. And if it's already being run, the odds that you are going to get the same results as the primary person that started that thing is slim slim to none. So if you've ever tried to just, ooh, this product's working right now, let me go and steal it, copy it verbatim, and then run it, and then you get shocked at your results not being the same as the other person's, that's why. The algorithm favors who gets there first. It's true. So if you're on a platform and you see something on Facebook and then you directly copy it, Facebook is not going to give you the same quality of traffic, because the person already giving them gobs of money for that exact product is going to continue to get favor in the marketplace, in the ad auctions. So my idea for you all is that old little bit extra work thing of find something that works and then make it better, model after it. Do not straight copy it. All right, so on here, you can see that to my daughter, never forget that I love you. You'll always be daddy's little girl. And then the other one is, I hope you believe in yourself as much as I believe in you. Love, Dad, right? So the dog tag gives you a little bit more real estate than the heart necklace does. So it's still very simple words. The never forget I love you thing, I promise you, is on at least 5,000 SKUs right now that are being run across the board. It's like the most popular daughter thing ever, the never forget I love you thing. And then you just add some type of eternal promise or some type of emotional ending or hook. Normally, if we're seeing things that work really well, it has a message is broken up with some really good, interesting beginning or hook in the beginning of it. So the never forget I love you thing. And then you tell them why. Like, never forget that I love you because you're an amazing person, because I see the endless potential in your life, because I hope you believe in yourself as much as I believe in you, because you're a rock star, whether you know it or not, right? Little girls, at least my little girl, so I'm going to speak from my personal experience. Little girls in my life, my child has a confidence issue. I don't know if that's every little girl, but mine does. My daughter is an amazing kid and she never gives herself enough credit, right? So I could see getting her something like this so that she knows a little bit of a reassurance. So if you're going to do daughter and you're going to do graphic, start off with something like never forget that I love you, or something like never forget how much you mean to me, and then give them some type of reassurance that you can do this. When time gets tough, I have your back, something along those lines as inspiration. Those type of messages work incredibly well. Then on the son and grandson end of things, this is the exact same message as the daughter, right? The only thing difference is the graphic in the middle. So if I was going to properly use this as research, what I would do is, okay, here's my words. How can I rearrange and redesign the words so they're not the same? How can I say the same thing without using the exact same words? And then what can I do with the icon that shows the difference in the connection between dad and daughter, if I'm doing for daughter? Or what can I do to show the connection between dad and son, right? So your template, if you want to do a dog tag, is a little bit of a phrase, icon in the middle, reassurance at the bottom. Okay. Very similar, simple structure like what we have with our message card. The only difference is in the middle is usually a void, because I don't know if you guys can see my mouse or not, but there's a void in the middle for the necklace piece. So that's how you design good graphic pieces. This one it did okay, but it didn't do as good as this one or even this one. It was very busy, and you can kind of like, these words were hard to read. Simple and legible is still a key component to it. All right. So that's the product end of things. That was our motivation and what we used to generate graphic products. And remember, there's no buyer upload here. Okay. This is all just static. It's one design. Everybody gets the same design. If you want to do like a buyer upload piece for the dog tags, you could superimpose. So you could have text down below and then upload the picture of the daughter or of the son or of the spouse, use something along the lines of drive safe. Remember we need you to come back to us, or something like that, or drive safe, we need you in our lives. And then you put a picture of the family, right? And then the family is a buyer upload component. Does that make sense? So there's a lot of buyer upload options there. For dads, for Father's Day, you could do pictures of the kids, you could do pictures of the family, you could do a sonogram picture. There's a lot of different angles you can take. This is like a blank canvas as well, right? So leverage it, all right? Don't always just try message cards. Give this a shot. this also has a lower end price point. Normally it's like $40 to $50 instead of the 50 or like $60 to $80 range. So in the recessionary time period, you may find CPAs, cost per acquisitions, much cheaper by doing this type of product than doing a more expensive product. Okay. So just some ideas for you. Now, the second half of that, to make this store successful, we needed products, and we wanted to do products that most people didn't do, right? So we went the graphic route, buyer upload route, and then we were like, how do we get the traffic that's not Facebook, not Instagram, and not TikTok? So we had to start with our demographics. Who buys our stuff? You guys know the answers to that? The answers are there, and I didn't do it fancy as like little transitions, but there are big swaths of the market that make up the people who buy ShineOn products. They're obviously family centric. What I mean by that is that they have a family and they love their family enough to part money to buy a product, right? If you don't like your spouse, you're probably not going to buy them a gift from us. If you don't like your daughter too much, which I don't know why you would, I'm just saying, like, if you are an estranged person, you're probably not going to be very family centric. So family centric people buy our stuff. Conservative leaning people buy our stuff. Now, why would I pull politics in it? Well, it's not really politics. I'm just looking for giant swaths of people. And then we're going to go out and figure out if this group of people exists, where do they hang out online? Yes, they hang out on Facebook. Yes, they hang out on TikTok, but where else do they hang out online, right? So that's why I'm trying to lean into this, is big groups of people. And then where do they hang out? Another big group of people that buys our stuff are faith-based people. I put Christian in there as, that it's a very large religion. It doesn't have to be the only religion that we're looking at, right? So Christianity, Judaism, if you have a faith-based person, they like our stuff. Also, if we go socioeconomical, blue collar people buy our stuff, right? No offense to ShineOn jewelry, but people who are into Louis and Gucci are not probably buying our jewelry, right? They're not. These are hardworking individuals that love their family, that work too hard. They're too busy in their lives. They have too much going on, like most of us, if you think about it. But I'm putting specific people here, specific groups of people here off of experience of sales. So what we're going to do now is go look for where people hang out that are family centric, that are conservative leaning. Do you know why I put conservative leaning there? Most conservatives have families. They're the core. Think of like middle America people. Christian faith-based usually have families, right? They're into their families. They're into that community of a religion, of a church. And again, it doesn't have to be Christianity. I'm just saying, using that as an example. Blue collar. You hang out where what do people like that are like hardworking blue collar folks? They like golf. They like football. They like baseball. So they like sports, right? So there's a lot of areas you can go that you use on Facebook and on TikTok to narrow down based off of interests, right? So like example of a blue collar, faith-based, family-centric person, I may choose deer hunting. And I'm going to specifically call out deer hunting because I know it works, because I've used it. Deer hunting is made up of a bunch of blue-collar people that are usually faith-based, most of the time Christians. They're conservative-leaning, and they have families. So it's a trick I use on Facebook is, where do these people hang out? What interests do they have? Beyond I have a dad, or I'm a male that's interested in daughter, which means I probably have a daughter, right? Go beyond that. And now we're going to step out beyond Facebook and TikTok. So we're going to start with smaller social networking sites. We have had some success on Twitter. It wasn't our biggest success. Most people think they write Twitter off, and whether you like that Elon Musk bought Twitter or you think he's ruined Twitter doesn't really matter to me. All I care about is there are people on that site that will buy our stuff, right? And the short answer is yes, they will. So you have video ads and you have image ads on Twitter, just like you do Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. So if you haven't tried Twitter, not many people have for our stuff. It's kind of a big blue ocean. Do I promise you it's going to work? I can't, right? Like, I'm not you. I don't know what you're going to run there. But don't just think about the giant social networks, right? If you go, well, what about social networks? Great. There's TikTok, there's Facebook, there's there's Instagram, there's YouTube, there's Twitter, there's Snapchat, and Pinterest. I personally would not run on Snapchat. I have not found any success with it whatsoever. I ran Pinterest a year and a half ago with no success at all. However, traffic on Pinterest is ridiculously cheap. So if I was going to leverage Pinterest, I would do a very small budget, populate a view content audience, meaning drive a whole bunch of traffic to my product page, populate that really big audience, and then create a custom audience on Facebook and on TikTok, because just because a user comes from Pinterest doesn't mean that the Facebook pixel and the TikTok pixel can't pick them up, okay? So just like Susie from Missouri might come to us from a Pinterest ad, but more than likely she also has a Facebook account and also has a TikTok account, so it would still populate into that custom audience. But I also want you to think about getting outside of the box, meaning take one of our big groups of people that we talked about in the previous slide. In this screenshot example, I did Christian social networking apps. And then guess what? There's a whole bunch of communication and social networking apps that are just for Christians. Then do it for families, family social networking apps. Then do it for the next one, right? So it's all of the big interests that we talked about, the big swaths of demographics. Search them, okay? Conservative social networking apps. Go through the lists. Not every social networking site is going to have paid ads, but most do. And nobody is except for us, is running traffic on any of these sites. That you want a blue ocean opportunity? Absolutely. I haven't personally tried, so I see a question, what do you think about LinkedIn? I haven't personally run traffic there. In my head, LinkedIn is always like B2B, not B2C, so business to business, not business to consumer, but it's worth a test, right? Like there's no guarantee that any of this will ever work or will always work. That is the risk we agree to and accept as digital entrepreneurs. We have a product, we need traffic and eyeballs on our products. Here's also what I can tell you. If you go out to yes, Rumble, Gab, there's a bunch of Truth Social, there's a bunch of them out there, right? That are conservative leaning social networking apps. My job right now is to get your brain going. You want to set a budget that you're willing to invest to see if that network is willing to work or not. That's the hard part, right? But it's just like Facebook. If I'm willing to spend $100 on this test to see if I can work with anything on Facebook, it's the same level of risk in my opinion. What I want to call out is do not expect the same conversion rate on other networking sites as you will on Facebook. Facebook charges a giant premium on their CPM. Believe it or not, $20 to $40 CPM is not good. It's really expensive when you compare it to other sites on the internet. Other sites on the internet may charge you $3 per CPM, right? So it's very spread out. So if you have, just keep this in mind, the cheaper the CPM, the lower your conversion rate is more than likely gonna be. So if you're enjoying a 3, 4, or 5% conversion rate because it's Facebook traffic, and then you switch to a site, let's just call it Newsbreak or Newsmax or any other site, CPMs are going to be way cheaper, but the conversion rate's also going to go down because cheap traffic is not as qualified as expensive traffic. That's why Facebook can get away with the expensive traffic. Just want to call that out. Don't expect the same conversion rates. Really what you're looking in is return on investment, right? I put $100 in, I got $300 out. This is a gold mine, right? That's what we want in an ideal world. There's a lot of traffic out there. Search middle America cities, find their local news sites, and negotiate direct site buys. So here's an example. Tuscaloosa, Alabama local news is what I used as the Google search. And then guess what? Their local news, their city news is their sites come up. And then is it more legwork? Yes, it is. But you're talking about where nobody else advertises your stuff. Totally like I'm the only person running. How many of you are looking to run in Tuscaloosa, Alabama on a news site? Now, I'm not picking on, if anybody's watching this from Tuscaloosa, I'm not picking on Tuscaloosa. It is a middle of America city that is probably full of people that are hardworking, blue collar, faith-based, family-centric, and conservative leaning. Right? Like we have sort of, I live in Florida. There's an awful lot of people that moved out of blue states to come here. I don't like that we've gotten so politicized as a country. I don't like that if I'm a conservative, therefore I must hate all liberal ideas. That's not how we became a great country. And I'll get off the political thing. But I don't think of it as, because of that mindset shift since COVID came out in the United States, it's relatively easy to pick out. Again, we're thinking for blue collar, family-centric, faith-based people that are conservative leaning. There's dozens and dozens, if not hundreds of cities in our country that are filled with people like that. Find their local news sites, negotiate small buys. Now, some sites are like, well, we'll run it for up to 2 or 3 months, but it's like $5,000. So depending on your budget, it might not be financially able to do that stuff. Other small news sites would be like, yeah, do it for a couple $100. You know, you have to negotiate with them. And again, it is more legwork. You just have to weigh, is it more legwork? Is that worth it? Because nobody's on it, right? So you have to weigh whether the opportunity cost is too great or is well worth it. And I can't answer that, only you can. All right, final one is take our main demographic segments and find forums. The old school forums, they still exist. Who knew? Little text forums. So I did family forums, and there are dozens, hundreds of them. Why are family forums important? And then underneath it is, here's family forums, better family relationships through blah, blah, blah. And it's not just family, like family forums, Christian forums, homeschool forums, people who like deer hunting forums, right? Like there's a ton of that stuff out there. Now, the note on forums, not every forum has ads. So pick a few, find the ones that have ads. Some do direct site buys, some have ad platforms, some just do Google AdSense. So if you want to go that route, you could go Google Display Network and then narrow down your demographic, okay? So there's a ton of traffic on the internet that is not TikTok, Facebook, or Instagram. And using those types of traffic sources and using just our graphic products, we literally did $933,000 in sales last year. So is there opportunity outside of those 3 traffic sources? You better believe it. It is a giant blue ocean of traffic. Hopefully you learned some stuff, and hopefully you got a lot of great ideas. And the biggest piece of advice that I can give each and every one of you is take an idea and put massive, massive action behind it. Even if you only have an hour a day because you're in a job and it's hard and I've got kids, like I was there. I worked, I had a full-time job. I was a football coach. So I left my house at 6 o'clock in the morning. I got home at 7 o'clock at night. I had a little baby boy. And then I would go into my bedroom. I would throw on my laptop and I'd work until about 11 o'clock at night, right? I had no social life, but I had a dream and I had the perseverance to figure it out. And that's why I get to talk to you today. I live a blessed life, truly thankful that I was able to, it's not all good times, right? There's a lot of heartache and hard work. And sometimes you work your dangdest and it doesn't give you any success from it. So stick with it, put effort into it. And over time and experience you gain from that work, you will find success for you, whatever that means to you. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. You have a great rest of your day and enjoy your weekends, depending on where you're at. Some of you may already be enjoying your weekend. So thanks so much, and I will see you next time.